Mm-hmm. 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 Come on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is PZ Music.
Hello, 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 Bills Mafia. My name's Jay Don't Fade, and this is Backdoor Bills Talk prior to the Jets and Bills. This time it's going to be at Highmark Stadium in lovely Orchard Park, New York, suburb about 10-15 minutes outside of downtown Buffalo. And joined back on the show all the way from nice and warm Alaska is Sunny. Sunny, how you doing today?
Doing good, Jason. It's good to be back on the show. I'm excited.
Me too, man. And if the show hasn't got you excited, obviously Bills football does because we are back on our winning ways. We've got a couple wins in a row stacked up here now. And on top of that, we got all the help we needed last week. It seemed like at one point, you go into the game with Kansas City against the Bengals, and you're thinking like, yeah, you hope for a win. You hope you're going to get a win, but you don't know, right? So, but you hoped, you didn't hope, you thought that the 49ers were going to beat Miami, and that they did. However, it didn't go the way I think we were all thought that it was going to go so much. So in the way that Jimmy G goes out for, I believe, his first quarter, I saw a bunch of tweets, that's a win for the Dolphins. And I was thinking really likewise the same thing. So what I did was I went, went better. I went money line live time on the San Francisco 49ers, and it ended up cashing out, ended up winning, ended up working out. That being said, everything went well last week. Dolphins win. Dolphins win. I lose my mind here. In some alternate reality, they probably think they won. Their fans do. Judging on their fans, they probably think they won in some way. Funny that now they're blaming the injuries, kind of like we were with valid injury concerns. And, of course, they had some valid injury concerns, of course. But, they can't use it as an excuse, right? Because we couldn't use it as an excuse. So, no excuse. Dolphins lost to the 49ers regardless of injuries. And the Chiefs, more importantly, lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. That being said, the Buffalo Bills are at the top of the mountain once again. Not number one in the league, but number one in the AFC, which is all that's important at this point in the year, or really throughout the year altogether, because we don't play the NFC in an important game, really, until the Super Bowl, if that happens, of course. Right now, I believe the actual, if you take both the AFC and the NFC and put it all together as the NFL, you have on top, you would have the Philadelphia Eagles. What was I mind here? Philadelphia Eagles. You would then have the Minnesota Vikings. You would then have the Buffalo Bills. So third in the league overall. First in the AFC, though, more importantly, home field advantages are so long as we can win out and do what we need to do. That being said, last week was a great game. Of course, great game in the sense that, not everything was clicking the way you wanted it to click. The defense looked real good. The offense wasn't really particularly amazing, of course, but it was enough to get the job done. They won comfortably, 24-10. Two-possession win. What I predicted. Didn't know if that was going to come in the way of 10 points or 17 points. We land right in the middle of 14. It's good. I don't know. I can't remember if the Bills covered the spread. I never really bet the Bills spread because it's always something absurd. And we know that with the issues that they have on offense, at least as of the last 5-6 weeks, it's hard to bet the Bills. With the points, or against the points, I guess so much you could say. It's always a lot of points. I don't think the Bills have covered the spread, and I don't know. It's been a while. I'll have to look up that. I'll look that up tomorrow and I'll get back to you guys next week. But it's been a while. But regardless, Dallas says Bills offense comes to life tomorrow. 33-17 Bills. Yeah, we'll jump into predictions later in the show, Dallas. I like the optimistic prediction. And I don't know that I I don't know. I'm thinking that much. I'd love to see that much. I'll be in attendance, of course. I have season tickets. I'll be there bright and early, enjoying my time there, of course, and hopefully enjoying a Bills win. That being said, let's jump into that game. We'll talk about the Bills and Jets, and maybe how they get to a 33-17 win. So, New York Jets tomorrow. We have the Bills and Jets coming in Highmark Stadium, as I mentioned. I want to say, I'm losing my mind here. 8-2, 8-3, 11. What's it? Week 12 now, something like that. So week 12, we'll just go with week 12. It could be week 13 for all I know. It's adding the season, adding the 18th or the 17th game, 18th week of the season is throwing me off a little bit. Either way, yes, it is week 13. So week 13, Bills have had a bye, Jets have had a bye. Bills at 9-3. Now, when we looked at this game on the schedule earlier in the year, we probably didn't see the Jets coming in at 7-5. If anything, at best, we probably thought they were coming in the inverse record or the reverse record, not the inverse, the reverse record at 5-7. I realistically probably would have had them more at something like, I don't know, 12, like probably something like 4-8, maybe 3-9. But they did get better. They have been slowly getting better, and they're really on a similar process to the Bills, where they're trying to make the playoffs this year. They're the young talent is there. They're missing one key piece, which we were missing for all those years. And that's a quarterback. I still don't think they have one. I don't see White as being like a franchise quarterback. He may be a bridge quarterback. Who knows? Maybe he's a Fitzpatrick, where he's going to get you through. He's not enough to win you the Super Bowl, or maybe you can will yourself to the playoffs with a really talented roster, but he's not going to really win you much. But he's a great quarterback, great for the fans, really good veteran, solid, smart, Harvard veteran to have in the room, and maybe that's what he ends up being. But anyways, Jets are 7-5, Bills are 9-3, coming off a hot win against the Pats, and prior to that, the Detroit Lions, and before that, the Cleveland Browns. So we got around a 3-game win streak here. Things are going and moving smooth. We were 6-3 at one point. We're now 9-3, kind of similar to how the last year was. Of course, last year we had a time where I believe we were like 6-5 or something. It was rough. Then we rattled off like 6 straight wins or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly every week or every year, but either way, adversity last year, adversity this year, and hopefully we've overcome that adversity. We're going to run the table. Because we run the table now, regardless of what happens in the other games, we get the 1 seed, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day is home field advantage through the playoffs, making sure that any road to the Super Bowl, so long as we win, goes through Buffalo, because that's really been our kryptonite the last couple of years, is having to go on road away games. If you look at road away games, they're both, it's synonymous, the same thing. So if you look at any of the road games we've had in the playoffs, Sean McDermott is, I believe, 0-3. At home, he is 3-0. So that's a bit of a telling stat. It's not like a 1-year stat line. It's over the course of 2 to 3 years in the playoffs. And maybe it would be 4, technically. I'm not sure. But either way, that's a telling stat. You win all games at home, lose all games on the road. 2 of those were during COVID, on the at home. But regardless, that home field advantage is major. It's key in the playoffs, especially a place like Buffalo with the passionate fan base that we are. Getting loud, maybe causing a false start or 2, or at least having an effect mentally on the opposing quarterback's brain, on his thoughts and how he's playing the game. All important. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's jump into Jets and Bills. Sonny, what do you think about the offense for the Bills coming into tomorrow's game? Oh, looks like Sonny's having a little bit of issues here. Real quick, I wanted to touch on something that Dallas said here. Dallas says, I know we're sick of talking about it. OBJ probably not happening now, ? I think I agree. I don't think it's happening anymore, but here's also, I was wondering, I was like, with the injury that he had, how is it possible that he's coming back so quick? And it's come to find out, I don't think he's going to play at all this year. So in my opinion, it's like, all right, well, you were supposed to be something that we could use in like the playoffs and like to maybe get us something up on that we're missing in wide receiver and for this year. But if we're going to have the chance to go into next year and have, OBJ possibly, or even if we don't have OBJ, we get a chance to go through a whole off season essentially. So we're going to get an entire draft, an entire free agency process, an entire reopening of the trades, and trade deadline doesn't matter. Once you get into the off season, you can trade anybody, right? So we can have trades, we can have draft additions, we can have free agency additions. I'm going to take a chance that I can find something that maybe I like better. And rather than having just one person to be able to connect with being OBJ, I'm going to take a chance that I maybe find something a little better, a little cheaper, a little more feasible financially for the franchise or the future of my franchise, as well as next year's Bills, than OBJ coming back off an injury on a big contract. It just doesn't. It's a lot of red flags there, Dallas. I think, would it be nice to have him, but he's not going to play this year now from what he said. So I don't really see a point. I mean, I don't know why he would say that, why that would even be something you'd mention prior to. I don't know if maybe that's what the physical revealed. Some of the articles I saw said that The physical really changed people's minds on, or not changed Jerry Jones. It was Jerry Jones article. Changed Jerry Jones' mind, or maybe his tone at least, on how he was addressing Odell Beckham and not really emptying back or backing up the Brinks truck. Jeez, tongue twister. But yeah, I think I'm out on OBJ at this point. I never was super in. Then I got in. Now I'm kind of out again. And Dallas says, "Yep, I agree as well." So obviously, that being said, Jets Bills. But I like that. I like bringing that up because I definitely did want to clarify that. So it's good for reminding me. Thank you for that. So Jets Bills. Tomorrow I'll get into the prediction later in the year, but I want to talk a little bit about the offense. Now we think back to the last time we played the Jets and what we did well with and what we didn't do so well with. In my mind, and the statistics would show you this, in the red zone, the Bills have not been fantastic. They haven't been great. Could have been better. Pretty much all year. We've had some red zone giveaways, usually on behalf of Josh Allen. Now, is he at fault for all those? No. Is he at fault for even half of them? Who knows? You have to go back and assess every play. It's on a case by case and a play by play and a down by down scenario or case, but situation. Jeez, tongue twisting myself here. But that being said, it's still happening regardless of who's at fault. They weren't executing. So, I mean, remember the first drive. First play of the game against the Jets. We throw a deep ball. Steph Diggs catches one, gets his motivation, gets that out of the way against Sauce Gardner. It was great. We're moving. We get into the red zone. I was at the game, actually. I was in New York. I took a trip with my brother and his friends to go to New York and watch that game. And that red zone interception still doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what he was seeing. Everybody in the stand saw it very clearly, and he was looking right at the guy, and he just kind of lobbed it to the Jets defender. I don't know. And I think that's part of what Josh has struggled with this year, and I want to talk a bit about that, even involvement with this game. Josh doesn't do the double take anymore, the double look. Like, he's not looking guys off anymore. It seems like he really locks in the red zone. Like, this is the play. That's where I'm going. And I think maybe he thinks because he's looking the guy down that they're going to be the defenders or the secondary, the backs are going to, the defensive backs are going to be wary and maybe double think like he's not really going to stare on this guy he's going to throw it to. But then he throws it to him, and he does it often. And he used to be a big guy with pump fake. He used to look at a lot of his reads in the red zone. But I feel like if you could go back, I don't know if there's a stat for this because it's probably hard to prove because unless you're Josh Allen, you don't know what you're looking at, and camera angles can only capture so much and whatnot on a given day. Or at a given game. And I'd like to see what his average amount of reads he went through last year and the year prior in the red zone as opposed to this year in the red zone. And I would say it's probably between 2, maybe 3 in previous years. And this year it's probably hovering right around 1.5, maybe if he's lucky 2. It doesn't feel like that, though. However, my prediction for the offense tomorrow is a lot of Josh Allen, heavy dose of Josh Allen, a lot of running the ball, a lot of throwing the ball. I think Steph Diggs is going to want to come back. I think Sauce Gardner is going to want to come back and probably they're going to come out hyped. And I think we're going to come out hyped and we're going to kind of just punch him in the mouth. But I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, but I think we're going to win that game, and it's going to feel like we're winning that game most of the time. And I think the crowd is really going to play a huge role tomorrow. It's going to be a very motivated game. It's going to be a really good game. I feel it's going to be one of those underrated games of the week. People are kind of looking over it like, the Bills are going to get right against the Jets, but I think it's going to be a good game. That being said, Sonny, what do you think on the offense this week?
I think that Josh Allen, like I said, sorry about the internet connection. I had to connect with my phone, but I think that Josh Allen, the last time we played against the Jets, that front was really, really disruptive. I think Josh Allen is going to go back to playing like again the way he started off against the Rams, against that great front, get the ball out of his hand quick, and get the running game going. I think people are not realizing that the Bills now have a running game. Naeem Hines and James Cook and Motor are all playing very well, and I think our offensive line is starting to allow our guys to get free in the backfield, and hopefully we can get a run game going because we control the clock, we control the game. And for Josh Allen, I think Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen. I think he's got that little itch on his shoulder to get back at the Jets for hurting him, and I think the Bills run away with this one. I think the Bills offense are going to really come alive and, revenge tour part 2.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I like that prediction. It's very optimistic, Sonny, and I think that a lot of the same. I'd like to see Devin Singletary have a good game. He had a decent game against the Jets last time we played him. So I'd like to see them do that as well. What I'd like to see them do is get a lead, maintain a lead, and then in the fourth quarter just plan on like, all right, if we got a safe lead, we're going to run the ball. We're going to if we need to get a first down, we're going to get a first down. Either way, we're going to dominate. So if that means that we run the ball for the first 60, 70 yards, of the fourth quarter, and then we get into like a 3rd and 8, we're going to go right back to passing the ball too if we have to. Then we get right back and run the ball. I want them to control the clock, and I want them to run the ball, but I want them to score points in every drive. That's the thing that's really big for me. I want points in every drive that we can get. You know, you have a turnover once or twice, whatever that is, what it is. You want to avoid those, of course, because it's part of running a clean offense and a Super Bowl ship and a tight ship, of course, in a football or team, organization, and franchise. But you also want to score points and get points. So if it means that if you're at the 4th and we're at, I don't know, 4th and 3 from the Jets 40 or the Jets 35, I want them going for the 3 yards. I mean, you got to get right. That's what the Bills get right. That's what they do. We got to see them get back to that. No scared football, no conservative football. I think they went a little too conservative last game, fairly early, and it made the game feel kind of close, and it was weird. I didn't like it when you had a chance to get right and take some risk and maybe get yourself some more swagger and get some more feeling, motivation, and just some more confidence back in that locker room. I feel like Dorsey may have kind of squandered that a little bit. Let's jump over to Dallas again. He's got a comment for us. Like to see Gabe have big games and struggles this season. I definitely agree with that. He's definitely been struggling a bit this season. That being said, he's been productive. I didn't know. Someone had mentioned on Twitter, like, he's still one of the best, most productive wide receiver 2s in the league, and he is. He ranks right around the top 30 in most things. Almost everything, I think he's about top 30. Some things he's even like top 15, top 20. So he's actually playing he's probably a starting wide receiver on some of the worst teams in the league, at least. So that's good, but I'd like to see it get better, of course. So I definitely agree. I'd like to see him have a big game. Steph always has a big game. I know Steph's on the cusp of breaking really some not records, but breaking some personal records for him as far as spending time with another team, yards and touchdowns and things, and receptions, even gave another team and really being that wide receiver 1. Mafia Sports Report says, I'm hoping Allen starts to trust Hines more and get him the ball. Seems like Dorsey has been giving Hines more snap counts as well. Yeah, I think so as well. I'd like to see Hines be more involved. It's just there's some plays where you see him toss like a screen, even to Cook. I mean, Singletary's more of a running guy, but even when they toss him the ball, I'm okay with that because he has really good vision. But even with Cook, it's like, he seemed to have a little bit of trouble running, walking, whatever you want to call it, tripping last game. He had some really good, he's able to find the openings, but he just was slipping up and tripping a little bit. So I'd like to see that get better. And I think with Hines, you watch some plays and like screen pass, you're like, why is that not the Hines? I feel like you have another 10 or 15 yards. So I'd like to see that as well. Tommy, I agree as well. So that's what we got on offense for the Buffalo Bills. Let's jump onto the defensive side for the Buffalo Bills before we get into our predictions and then our bet, of course, which will wrap it up. And I think last week we won some money, so let's try win some money again this week. But we'll jump into the defense here now. Sonny, what do you think about the Bills' defense, and how do you think they're going to be able to stop the Jets tomorrow and Mr. White at quarterback? I think you're muted there, Sonny. I think you're still muted there, bud. Well, while Sonny works on that, I will jump into my defensive predictions. Then we'll listen to what Sonny's got to say, and hopefully it's some of the same. Probably is some of the same, knowing us. We usually pretty agreeance on some of these Bills takes for the week, and they usually turn out to be pretty true for the most part. He's a little more optimistic than I am, but we usually meet somewhere in the middle, which is good. So that being said, I think tomorrow we see Trey White's first interception back. I just had this weird feeling that we're going to see like a Trey White interception, and maybe to seal the game, maybe to open the game. But it's going to be an impactful moment. Trey White's going to get an interception. He's going to dance or do something like he does on the field, and it's going to really be motivating. It's going to bring the team together. The confidence is going to be up. The stadium's going to be freaking rocking, about to crack in the foundation. That's terrible, which is why they're building a new stadium. It's going to crack, and everyone's going to be pumped up, and we're going to walk out of there with a win. But I also think tomorrow what we do need to see on defense is we need to see Greg Rousseau, guys like Greg Rousseau, Shaq Lawson, who is a guy that's more for run defending, but I need to see them get pressure. They have to fill those shoes that Von Miller's left behind in his injury, unfortunately. We got to find a way to get pressure. Now, does that mean – I think part of that, too, is Leslie Frazier needing to ease up on his take about not wanting to blitz. I know he doesn't like the blitz. I know he likes to get the genuine organic pressure from the four-man rush, and that's just not going to happen anymore. It was hard enough to get that to happen in certain games consistently. I don't think we ever had it consistently, but it was hard enough to get that in games with having Von Miller there. So not having Von Miller there now, I don't see how you're going to get that organically if you're not bringing in some blitz packages. So there needs to be some more blitzing. I'm not saying that we have to completely abandon the organic four-man rush and playing a lot of zone and kind of sitting back hoping to get some picks and making a quarterback be a quarterback, because it is White at a quarterback for the Jets tomorrow. It's not a seasoned or a franchise or even a Jared Goff, a Mac Jones even. I mean, this is a very younger guy, not young, but young in a way of as far as NFL experience and especially regular season experience as compared to the preseason, which he has played in. But yeah, I'd like to see some more blitz. I think for that reason you blitz and you trust your defensive backs and Jordan Poyer and even Hamlin now in injury, Tre'Davious White and Elam and just other guys. I like to see you and especially Matt Milano. Maybe bring in Matt Milano or Tremaine Evans to get up there, get their hands up, put some pressure on this guy while the crowd is screaming. I think that's going to work best for us on defense. That's my take on defense. That being said now, Sonny, what is your take on defense? So I got Bills by 40 from comedian Mo Brown. Bills by 40. I'd love to see that too. That'd be awesome, honestly. Yeah, hopefully White has a game like last time again. I can totally agree. He's referring to the last game that White played against us, and it wasn't very good from what I remember. If I remember correctly, that could be a misremembering, but I'm sure it is if that's the comment you had. So that being said, let's jump into our Bills predictions here now. The Bills predictions we've got here. So what we've got so far, what I've got so far, what my take is on the Bills prediction. Is it a prediction so much? Is it? I don't know. I was thinking how to word this. That's why I was kind of stuttering there myself. I want to say you know what? Let me pull that up because I want to make sure I know what I've got here. And make sure it's been tinkering the line itself, the line from the game, and the over under in the game has been kind of boop boop boop. You know, depending on injuries, of course, it goes up and down. I do think Garrett Wilson has a decent game tomorrow because I think he's a good player. I think he's a future wide receiver one for that team, probably a top 5 team, 15, top 5 team. Yeah, top 15. That's kind of weak it's been. Top 15 world. I almost just said World Series. I'm losing my effing mind here, guys. Thanks for staying with me. Top 15 wide receiver in the league in the future. Of course, he's in division, so maybe he'll be on our team in 4 or 5 years. Who knows? So I can tell you right now, we've got the Bills -10. I don't mind that line. Actually, I kind of like that. Over-unders at 43.5. It's because there's supposed to be rain, slush, snow. These teams are going to have to pass the ball regardless. So I'm taking that. I'm hammering that over. Hammering it with not even a rubber hammer, like a jackhammer. I'm jackhammering that over. It's got the Bills -10. I actually like that, but I'm going to tease it down for the sake of building value because I don't even if I like a line, I'm still going to tease it. I want to make sure I'm safe. Fade the public, of course. So, you know what? Let's do this. Let's jump into my bet first, and then let's do the prediction because that'll lead up to it. So we'll do a little Uno reverse card here. We're gonna swap it up here. We're gonna mix it up here, guys. So what we're gonna do, and I'll do this live time in front of you. So you know it's true. It's organic, just like the pressure that Leslie Frazier wants to get rather than blitzing. So I'm taking the Bills -5.5. And you know why? I think they'll win by a touchdown at least. But it's gonna be raining. Tyler Bass missed an extra point. Lose my mind here. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, yes. 2 weeks ago. In the case that it comes down to a touchdown and they don't get the extra point, I'm taking the -5.5. So -5.5 is at -215. Okay. So what do? Like I said, I like over 43.5. I jackhammer it. Hammer it, jackhammer it, rubber mallet it. Every kind of hammer you can think of. However, I'm going to go to tease. That's what it's called, by the way, if you guys are into betting. If you're buying point, you can call it buying points, teasing points, selling points, whatever you want to call it. It's just when you tease the line down, they give you a different odds. So like if you had right now it's -10, but you get it at it's -10 points at -110, meaning that like a $50 would pay back like 46 or 40, 45, something along those lines, right? Now, if I take -5.5, what I get is -215. So $100 may only pay out $50, or $50 may only pay out $25. But if I parlay that, it's going to get you back to a flat line where what you bet, you're going to get back usually, or maybe even a little bit more. So I'm then going to go to the over, right? And I'm going to take over 34.5 points, which is -400. Those combined give you minus. You'll see that in just a second when it decides to show on the screen. There you go. Okay, so you can see it right here. See how this works? There we go. Now, if I put, let's say $30, that's a modest bet. It's not a lot. So if I put $30 on the Bills with -5.5, also with over 34.5 points. So say the Bills win, and I'll give my prediction now. My prediction tomorrow is that the Bills are going to win this game 24-10. Yes. No, I'm just joking because that wouldn't be the over 34.5. See, it was a joke. You didn't get it. Okay, no. I actually do like the Bills winning 27-13. I see the Jets coming. I see us having a really good first half where it's like, I don't know, 14-7, right? 14-7 Bills or 17-7 Bills, something along those lines, right? 17-7 Bills. I'll say 17-7 Bills, right? And then, but it feels like the Jets are raiding this game. Like maybe we're driving at the end to really turn it up and get there like that 24 points, 24-7, where we're starting to get to the blowout territory, and they make a stop, or we have like one of those red zone interceptions, something like that, and we come back and get it. I don't know. That's just my thought. And then we come out in the second half, we just kind of make the adjustments we need. Leslie Frazier's not worrying about organic, schmorganic. He doesn't care anymore. He's blitzing. He's bringing everything he's got, and that's what I've got. So $30 pays out $24. In profit, but you get your original $30 back. So $30 pays out $54. That's including your buyback in, of course. Sonny, you got a message here for us. Sonny, he was the one that was just on. If you guys don't know, of course, he's having some internet issues. Honey, Jesus. I'm so sorry. I have Starlink coming, so my internet won't be stressed. My prediction is Bills win 38-17. I would back. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Time. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Bills. Let's go, Tommy. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the super chat, supporting the channel. Of course, you're part of the channel, but you're supporting your own channel, which is good, right? To each his own and it supports his own. That's good, right? So 38-17. I like that too. The rain is the only thing that worries me. If it wasn't for that, I would be probably around your boat as well. Something like, in the 30s for us and maybe even a little bit lower for the Jets. Who knows? It would be a full blowout. But the rain and the cold is just there's a lot of variables there. Even with having Allen who can throw, a 100-yard pass in a snowstorm, just worries me because it's so cold. It gets so cold here, and you have that slushy where your hands just freeze all the time. So I hope he has the hand warmers on there strapped to the belt tomorrow. Mr. Allen does. And so do all of our wide receivers because everybody knows when it gets cold, your hands like rocks and every pass that you catch hurts. So especially when you're getting 100-mile-an-hour Nolan Ryan fastballs from Josh Allen, it's not going to feel great. That being said, Tommy says 27-10. Media Mo says scoring way more than 24. I'd like to say so too, but like I said, the weather is just not looking good. Tommy says it's going to be raining tomorrow, and I believe you'll see a similar game like you saw versus Patriots. Yeah, I hope the game script's different, but I could see that. I'd like to see the game script being different, but I could see that, Tommy, so I fully agree with that. Well, that being said, Bills Mafia. Dry mouth here. Buffalo, New York. It's been cold as hell for a while. But that being said, Bills Mafia, that is back to our Bills talk. I am at J Don't Fade. Thank you, Sonny. That was Sonny saying goodbye. This is a joke. That was Sonny saying goodbye. He will be back on. We're going to try and get him back on next week. We're going to figure something out, get him back on here. We appreciate the support again, Sonny, and trying to join us here and fighting through those internet issues. I don't blame you. I know that in Alaska, internet can't be the first priority. I'm sure they have if they have great internet coverage, of course. I've never really met with anybody from Alaska, but besides yourself. So I don't know too much about the internet, but obviously it's not great and it could be better. So get better, Spectrum and Starlink and Comcast and Verizon and all you guys there. So Charter. I'm trying to think of another. Adelphia. No, they're not around anymore. Either way, that's it. Real quick update before we wrap up tonight. Just want to check in on the other sports team we have. And the Sabres lose 3-1. So, they came out pretty flat. This isn't the kind of podcast for that, but they came out pretty flat. Looks pretty rough tonight. They lost to the Pens last night, too. Not looking good in Saberland right now. We're 12-14-2. But I don't even want to say they held their own because the first period kind of crushed them today. If they played a better first period, might have went to overtime at least. They got a point like we got the other night. But fortunately, no. Well, Bills Mafia. Go Bills. Tomorrow, Bills Jets. In the rain, hopefully it passes and God cleans it up for us. We get a nice one more warm game at New Era Field before the freezing cold that we're all going to be bundling up for. And that's all I got. That was Backdoor Bills Talk. You have a good day, Bills Mafia.